My question is to the Minister for ACC and asks, what progress has the government made in addressing the financial losses reported by ACC of $2.4 billion in 2007-08 and $4.8 billion in 2008-09?
The Honourable Dr. Nick Smith.
Speaker, ACC's annual report tabled today shows a marked turnaround, enabling the corporation to reduce its net liability by $2.5 billion or to $10.3 billion. This has been possible because ACC has contained its liabilities and grown its assets. This has been achieved by the corporation delivering a marked improvement in rehabilitation rates, noting that just a 1% improvement in rehabilitation rates reduces those liabilities by $500 million. The strong recovery in investment in markets has also contributed to this positive result.
Melissa Lee.
Supplementary question to the Minister. What impact will this much improved result by the corporation have on levies?
The Honourable Dr. Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, the result is good news. It means we've got the scheme back onto sustainable financial footing, enabling New Zealanders to have confidence that they will receive proper care and rehabilitation if they have an accident, and that this can be provided without significant levy increases. I stress that ACC still has a long way to go to get out of the woods and reduce its net debt. The advice I have from the board is that, noting a big part of the turnaround is a bounce back in investments, is that ACC is still not fully on track to meet the balance in assets and liabilities that are required by the Accident Compensation Act by 2019. This government is very aware of the cost pressures on families, and that is why we've said to ACC that our preference is to contain costs rather than look at significant levy increases.
The Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is the reason the Minister has publicly said he's not recommending levy increases for ACC for next year because he exaggerated ACC's problems last year and so put up levies by more than was necessary?
The Honourable Dr. Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, the accounts of ACC signed by Marianne Street in 2008 showed a $2.4 billion loss. In the following year, under exactly the same reporting standards, ACC made a loss of $4.8 billion. No amount of exaggeration is required. Those figures speak for themselves on the level of mess that member left ACC in.
Melissa Lee.
Supplementary question to the Minister. What is the significance of the turnaround in ACC's financial position to the government's broader finances?
Honourable Dr. Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, ACC as a Crown entity directly impacts on the government's accounts. The $4.8 billion loss in the 2008-09 year made up 46%, or nearly half, of the government's $10.4 billion deficit. That this has been reversed significantly strengthens the government accounts and helps New Zealand's broader economic credibility in the difficult current global financial environment.
The Honourable David Parker.
Which is more cynical, his exaggeration to justify last year's levy increases, or his statement that he'll have no increases next year because those increases would come into effect in an election year?
The Honourable Dr. Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, the members opposite were able to achieve significant increases in 2008 when Marianne Street put the levies up, and at the same time massive deficits, the worst of all worlds. What we've got from this government is a very responsible approach with ACC, where I simply draw the members' attention to the audited accounts by Ernst & Young that show the scale of the deficits that was left by his government.
Melissa Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Supplementary question to the Minister. Is the Minister aware that ACC's administration costs went up to $28 million in 2006, $44 million in 2007, and by another $42 million in 2008, and total increase of 30% in just 3 years? And if so, what steps have been taken to get these administration costs under control?
The Honourable Dr.
Speaker,
Nick Smith.
Yes, I can confirm that the administration costs of ACC blew out by 30% in the last 3 years of the previous government, albeit I say that bureaucratic cost increase was typical across a whole number of government agencies. Not only have we stopped this ongoing growth, but ACC in the last year has trimmed $38 million off its administrative costs in the last year. $5 million has been trimmed off marketing and promotions, which is a bit excessive for a monopoly provider. $6 million has been saved in information technology. There has been a 52% reduction in travel costs. I remind the member, a 52% reduction in domestic travel costs and a 45% reduction in international travel costs. I'd say to the member that's piking up, why doesn't she apologise for the mess that she left the people of New Zealand with ACC?
Order. Question number 8, the Honourable David Parker.